Hello, my name is Leslie. Welcome to Flosstube number 7. I am back at the lake house in Northwest Pennsylvania this morning. It's a Sunday morning, beautiful day, lots of sunshine, so the lighting is terrific. I hope you're doing well. I am doing well. I had a good week. I enjoyed my stitching as per usual, and I hope you did too. I have a lot to share with you this week. I want to get to the comments, especially at the end of the video, so I hope you'll stick around for that. And I wanted to just say before I start is I'm going to try to say a little bit less about the projects that you have seen a couple times. So if I've shown it a couple times and I've told you the specifics about the fabric and the floss and all of that, stitch count, everything, I'm not going to keep repeating that because just in the interest of time and wanting to spend time on some other things, I will definitely tell you the name of the pattern and the designer when I remember. But other than that, if you have a question about anything, you can either go back to a previous video or you can certainly ask me in the comments and I'd be happy to answer. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to start with the temperature stitching. This week you're going to see a total of 11 projects for 1,400 stitches. The first project is called Whimsical Village number 8. This is a design on Etsy, and I have it pulled up here. This is the mock-up. And this is by Tam Stitch Designs. I did 200 stitches on this one this week, and I'm filling in the diagonal. So starting up here and filling in as I go down. And I did put 200 stitches in. I have done a total of 500 on this one now as far as temperature stitching, so I just have 100 more to go before I put that away. Also that, so you know, that is 7.88% of the piece that's completed. Okay. The next one is called Cardinal Points. It's a collaboration between the Gentle Art and Long Dog Samplers. I did 100 stitches on this week for a total of 300, so you'll see it for 300 more. 2 viewers said that they really liked this piece. Iriscope and Kathy are both stitching it. But here's mine. I did 100 stitches, like I said, and I finished this flower, and I think I did the word the. I may have brought this over a little bit. At that, there is that. It's a beautiful piece. I'll show you the whole thing, just a little bit more there. Okay. The next one, I did 300 stitches on. It actually got called 3 times. It's called Ukrainian Sampler. Let me show you the mock-up on Pattern Keeper. There you go. So I'm up in the upper left-hand corner, and I've done these 2, and I'm working on that one. That's red, mostly red, green, and, well, red, green, white, black, and yellow, I guess, are the 5 colors. And here we are. So I have the whole top of the block completed and a little bit of the bottom, so you can see how that will fill in. Very pretty. So I have 300 more stitches to go. I don't know if that will complete that block or not. We shall see. All right, the next one is a Blackbird Designs, Violet's Blue. This is the design. I did 100 stitches on this one for a total of 300, so you'll see it for 300 more. And this is where I worked, up here. So I just brought the top border across so that now next time I can fill in these little heart flowers up there, and then I'll probably come down here and keep working on here, on this down there. This is very delicate because it's on 40 count, 1/2. Okay. All right, the next one is in Pattern Keeper. And this one is called Summer Village Round. And this is the one that looks like that little cabin in the woods that maybe Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs lived in together. There you go. All right, so very pretty. And I did 100 stitches on this one. And this is where I worked this week. I had done the navy blue outlining, and so I filled in some of the blue, the brown, and the olive green. And this is the whole thing that's done so far. This is actually a total of 17.23% completed. Okay, so we'll do 400 more on that. Season and Time is the next one. This is by, it's either, I don't know if it's Mora or Moira Blackburn, Bothy Threads. You've seen this many times. I did 100 stitches, and this time I completed this tree. So this reached its goal now. This number did not get called again, so I'll show you the replacement later, but I want to show you all that I have done. And I showed you this a prior week, but I did put in some of the back stitching in the leaves so that we can see what that's going to look like. And I like it so much better than just the blank leaves. So that'll be the whole way across. And I want to thank Elizabeth for letting me know that she really liked the look of those, and she was happy that I liked it. So thank you, Elizabeth. All right, that'll get put away for a little while now. All right, the piece that I replaced that with, I'm going to show you next, because that number did come up again. So this is a new one for you. This is called Patriotic House Trio. This is by Waxing Moon Designs. There are 3 pieces that I am going to do in a row. This one will be in the middle. This is the one I'm working on right now, will be on the left-hand side. This will be on the right-hand side. So this says freedom, this says liberty, and this says America. So I'm doing right now, I'm doing freedom. I have quite a bit done on it, and I had to do 100 stitches this week. And where I worked was this white right in here and a little bit of blue in the house. I like to get the bones of the house done, especially when it's white, excuse me. So I'll keep working on that house. I'll be doing 500 more stitches, so hopefully I will, this is one down here. I wanted to show you the gold star in the top of the house that's going to be up here, up in here. It's really neat. It's very different than other houses I've seen. I think that's going to be fun to do, and it brings out the gold and the star and the flag, and then the flowers there under the tree. So yeah, I don't have a lot to go on this. This will probably be a finish in the near future, I hope. I'll tell you just a little bit more about this one, because yeah, it's the first time I'm showing it. I'm doing this on 14 count Ada by Witchelt, and in the color Touch of Gray. And I am using CXC floss. I started this in January of 2025. And the stitch count is 61 by 77, each of the houses. All right, the next one is Spring Quaker by Leela Studio. Beautiful piece. I did 100 stitches, and I've done now a total of 200, so this will stay out for 400 more. And I worked up here in this motif. I said I was going to do the flower that belonged here, and I forgot. So I just worked on this motif. So when I get done with this one, then I'll come down here and make sure I get that flower done so that that motif is completed. Okay, so you'll see that for 400 more. Beautiful. All right, the next one you've seen several times. It's Acorns by the Blue Flower. Okay, I did 100 stitches on this one now for a total of 300, so you'll see it for 300 more. And where I worked this week, I'll just show you the part I worked on first. I just did these two cute little acorns. So those are complete. This motif has 2 more acorns and 2 more leaves. So I'm going to keep working on this and try to get this done. I have 300 more stitches to do on this one, so I'm hoping I can get this whole thing completed in that 300 stitches. And then I'll just show you the whole thing. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, next is on Pattern Keeper. This is a Carolyn Manning piece. It is called Green. And it is a lot of different shades of green. If you like green, this is the piece for you. Okay, there that is. Yeah, it's all flowers. Some of them look sort of like they're Quaker-ish, but I think they're all flowers. I did 100 stitches on this week. This is where I am. So I worked up here in the border. I think I just brought the dark green over, and then I started working on this motif here. Yeah, so this is, oh, I'm gonna look on here and see what the percentage that I have completed, because I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. 20.97% is completed on this, so that's almost 1/4 of the piece, so you can sort of see how big it's going to be. All right, so I'll get to do 500 more on that one. And the last temperature piece is a Rosewood Manor piece called Owlsmore Cottage. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. Karen Kluba. And I'm up in the top. So I did 100 stitches for a total now of 300 done on this one. I worked on the large motif that is to the side of the alphabet and these geometric shapes that I've been working on. So this large motif, I'll bring this back up so you can see. I just wanted to get that started, and I wanted to put the different blues and greens that are in it so that we could see how pretty it's going to be. Okay, so I'll keep working on that. I'll show you all that I have done. I did also do a little bit of the white in the border at the top because I had a hanging thread, so I just stitched that in. But there's where we are. And then after that motif, which is pretty large though, the border just comes down, so then we'll have, we'll have that top completed, and I can move down and get to some more fun stuff. Okay. All right, so that is my temperature stitching for the week. All right, the next thing I am going to show, or the next part of the video that we're going to get into, is showing you the pieces that I have a designated goal for. So that goal might be to finish it, or it might be to do 1,000 stitches, 500 stitches, 750 stitches, 250 stitches, whatever it is, but I will tell you the goal. So I switch those pieces out every week except for the one that I'm trying to finish. I keep it out until it is finished. I'm going to go back again just a little bit so I can explain. The piece that I was trying to finish, my original goal was 1,000 stitches every week. Then Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, came out with a category game. She divided all her pieces into categories. She picks a category, and then she does pieces related to that category. I wanted to participate in that because I love Jen and I want to support her. And so I changed the goal of the piece I'm trying to finish, I changed it to 500 stitches so that I could now also do the category piece of Jen's. So let me show you the piece I'm trying to finish, and it is this one. It's called Summer Tier by Erin Elizabeth Designs. Very, very fun summer piece, very colorful. I did 500 stitches, and this is where I got to. So last week I finished this week I finished this. I figured that I would, and I had some stitches left over, so I finished the white scalloping underneath here. I brought these teal rows down, and I had one, this flower was done, but I did all these and all these. So next week, I only have to fill in the white in the pedestal and finish the flowers and do the little back stitching so that they look like they're hanging down from the tiered tray. And I'll be done with this. I think this is only going to take about 100 stitches. That's what I'm estimating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the balance of that, and I'm going to put it towards the next thing, which I'm going to show you. Okay, so 100 stitches for this one. I'll keep that out. Okay. The next one is the piece that I introduced last week that is going to be called the locations piece, because it is all related to where you, my viewers, and my commenters are from. I showed you a map last week of the United States. The blue highlighted states are the ones of the people who had already told me where they live. So without me asking, they had volunteered the information where they lived. There were 7 locations. The locations were Idaho, Montana, Wisconsin, New York, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and the country of England. So last week, Jen's category was one that I did not have a piece for. So the 500 stitches that I was going to do for that piece, I did on a piece now that I'm calling the locations piece, that is going to represent the states where my commenters and viewers are from. I showed you this book, and I showed you 7 different pieces in this book, and but I did not tell you which one I was going to start. So I started the piece and I put 500 stitches in it. And this is the piece. So just to tell you a little bit about why I picked this piece. To me, bloom where you are planted means to be content and make the best of whatever situation you find yourself in. And sometimes that's easy to do, and sometimes it's not. But if you can do it, it's a much better way to live, in my opinion. I learned this from my father. My father had a lot of health problems in the end, including some amputations. And despite all of the losses, he was able to remain content and made the best of his situation. He was the best patient. He did everything anybody asked him to do. He was just a wonderful, wonderful man. And he taught me that contentment is really valuable, to be able to be content like that. So I'm going to think of him when I do this. And also think of you guys, because this represents you. All right, so I did 500 stitches on it this week. This is on 20 count Cottage Cat Designs Ada called Will Ferrell. So it's 1/1. It's a full cross, but it's not going to look like 500 stitches probably, but it is. So I started in the middle and I got those words, where you, and this is actually, I'll show you the design again, but this is the M of the word bloom. And then I had to start the flowers. So that is where I got to this week. I'll show you this again. So I have the M completed, and I have this middle, where you, and then I started these flowers. So beautiful. I really love the way the M with the different shading, how that went into different colors. I think that's cool. So that's going to be beautiful as we go across here, and then the word planted underneath. And so I have plenty of fabric. And in fact, I might put more of those pieces on this piece. We'll see. We'll see how long this game goes. But you may have noticed when I held this up, there's a lot more states highlighted. So let's go back to the blue states for a minute. So I told you these were all the originals of the people that had commented without me even asking. So what I did was, because I did 500 stitches, I am saying that I have now represented Idaho, Montana, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and England. So those are the 5 that were represented with the 500 stitches that I just did on this piece. Now, because I'm only going to put 100 stitches into this, I'm going to, instead of getting another piece out that I want to finish, I'm going to take the balance of this 400 and I'm going to put it into this. So I'm going to represent 4 more states. And I will, next week, I will tell you which ones are represented, which ones I've stitched for, and I'm going to color them in a different color so that you'll be able to tell. And there'll be 4, plus there's going to be some more, which I'll tell you in a minute. But there's going to be 4, okay? And this will be it, okay? Now, I do, before I go on and tell you more about that, which is in a little bit, sorry, I want to keep this straight. I want to tell you the people, because I told you the people who had responded about this last week, I want to tell you the new people who have responded and where they're from. So I got one more from Pennsylvania. Her name is Mary, and she lives in Berks County. So there are now 4 people from Pennsylvania. I got another person from Wisconsin. Her name is Yvonne. So now there are 2 from Wisconsin, and it's either Yvonne or Yvonne. And you can let me know how you prefer it, because I'll probably be saying your name again, Yvonne. Then I got another person from England. Her name is Vic or Vicky. And again, could you please tell me what you prefer, Vic or Vicky? She's from England, so now we have 2 from England. The next person was from Connecticut. Her name is Diane, and she's right here. The next one, state represented, is Washington State. There are 2 people from Washington State that responded this week. Their names are Elizabeth and Angel. I have a viewer from New Mexico. Her name is Joanne. And she is the one who is doing the Amy Stewart piece with me, the Kitschy Fun Book Nook. She and I are going to be doing that. It's fun to think you're so far away, Joanne, but we're going to be sharing something, and that's going to be fun. All right. Then we have Janice from Alaska. Janice told me she was born and raised in Alaska. I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody born and raised in Alaska, but now I have a connection. So Janice, thank you. Then we have Florida. Florida is Joanne, the eclectic stitcher, who I have mentioned. She is from Florida. Then I have Kathy from Illinois. I have Amy from Indiana. And I have Becky from Missouri. Cool, you guys are all neighbors. And I have Tara from Virginia. I want to tell you a little bit about Tara. I had to think about which state I wanted to represent for Tara, because she was born in Georgia. She has 2 homes, one in New Mexico and one in Virginia. But I already had Joanne in New Mexico, so that was already represented. So I thought, Virginia. But then she also said when she cross stitches with her sister in Virginia. So that clinched it. So Tara, you are represented by Virginia, and I hope you're okay with that. North Carolina, this is Iris. Iris from North Carolina is here. And then the last person who just responded is this other neighbor here. Look at these. We're all neighbors. Look at that. We're all touching. Ohio, and that is the Soggy Doggy Stitcher. And Soggy Doggy has not told me her first name yet, so I refer to her as Soggy or Soggy Doggy. So thank you all so very much for responding. And I'm going to get to 4 of these plus some more, which I'll tell you about. So next week. So look for that. All right. I'm going to move on a minute to my next piece, which is the one that I try to do every single day. This is by Rosewood Manor, and this is called American Flag Quilt Sampler. I've been working on this a very long time, which you know. I show this every week. I did 350 stitches this week. I'm going to show you what I completed, and then I will show you the whole thing. And I tell you something exciting. So last week I had started the Ohio block, and this week I finished it. So there's a lot of back stitching in that, as you can see. And there's actually back stitching on top of these red stitches, which I did. But when it came to this block here, it was very busy. It was very hard to read where I was supposed to put the back stitches, so I decided to just let them off. And I think it looks fine plain. These are so busy, it's kind of nice that this one doesn't have anything. And then I did move over here. I can't remember which state this is, and I looked and I can't read it on the pattern. But I started this next block, so I'll tell you next week because I'll keep working on that. I'll tell you what state that is next week. I also came up here, and if you'll recall in the back stitching, I had been missing this star. So I put that in, and I came over and I did this down here with these stars all the way down to here. And I took this back stitching, which is every other stitch, I took this all the way down here. So that was my 350 stitches. And this is the whole piece. And this is really a gorgeous piece. If you live in this country, it's a legacy piece somebody's gonna want. You can pass it down. It could get passed down for generations. And I love the thought of that. So I'm getting it professionally framed when I'm done with it. And I'm hoping that, yes, this gets passed down through the ages. So I have some exciting news about this piece. I told you last week that or a couple weeks ago, I got in touch with Steph from Just Keep Stitchin' Co. She also has a Flosstube with her mom, Pam, that's called Just Keep Stitchin'. She has an online needle workshop now, and it is awesome. Steph is awesome. She's doing such a great job. I asked her if she could get this piece in stock, because at the time I wasn't sure if it was out of print. I didn't know if you could still get it. I really didn't know, but I had had a couple people tell me they really liked it. And I thought maybe it would be helpful if I could tell you where you could purchase it in case you wanted to. So I asked Steph, she got right back to me, told me she could get it, and now she has gotten it into her shop. Last night on her shop update, she even mentioned my name, and she said that there were some stitchers that might be interested on my channel, that watch my channel, in doing it, so she now has it available. And she showed the piece, and she told some really interesting information about it. I'm not going to repeat what she said because I want you to go over to her channel. I hadn't even read as far as she had on the pattern, at least not recently, to share it with you, but she shares some really interesting information about the pattern, and she does have it in her shop now for purchase, so I hope somebody goes over there and gets it. Please let me know if you do. Please, please let me know. And I'm sure she can get as many copies as we would like. So if there's, hopefully there'll be more of you, who knows, but it's a great piece. So, okay. Now I'm going to move on to the piece that I did 1,000 stitches on this week. And this piece is on Pattern Keeper. It's getting a little cloudy. I don't know if the light is changing, but it is getting a little cloudy. Okay, so this one is called Stained Glass Owl. This is a chart from Etsy by Sharova Creations. And there are a bunch of these on Etsy. If you scroll around, you might see some. I love owls. I'm up here in the corner. I did 1,000 stitches, but I didn't even get down into the blue yet around the owl. I'm still up in that corner, but it's really pretty. Okay, so here I am. So I got this brown right here. I got that filled in. I got some of this green here, and I went down here, and then all these scattered stitches around are me taking my string and taking it out as far as it would go until I ran out of the color. So that's what those scattered stitches are. And what it means is when I get to that block, it just makes it easier because there's already some stitches done in it. So there we go. It's beautiful. I really love the colors of it. Okay, so that was 1,000. And that is 4.94% complete. The next one, little sadness on this one, but I'll tell you about it. My goal for this one was 750 stitches this week. This is by Heartstring Samplery. His Eye is on the Sparrow. Okay, I was doing really well. I was up to like 650 stitches, going into the final 100 stitches, and I realized I had made a mistake. So I just stopped. So I got 650 stitches in, but I'm gonna have to frog before I can make progress again. I'm gonna show you what I got done. So up here, I got this little gold bird and I got the horse. So I brought things over a little bit. I think that looks really good. This basket had some of the gold in it. I finished the gold, and it also had a little bit of this white, which is 38.65. And I started doing a little more of that. Well, my eyes were getting tired. It was getting late last night. So I decided to just let that thread hang, and I came down here. I did this little motif, which was fine. And then I came down here. Well, when I counted off of this one, I counted right, but I started in the wrong place. I don't know if you've ever done that, but it's an easy thing to do. And I was tired. And so I did this whole flower, and I'm trucking along, and I go over here and I do this bird, which is hard to see, but I think it's a heron. But anyway, I did that, and then this wasn't lining up, and I realized this was in the wrong place. So then this was in the wrong place. So I'm gonna frog that out. Frog, that word frog, in case, frogs say ribbit, ribbit. Well, it sounds sort of like rip it. And so that's why this is called frogging. At least that's my understanding of it. I certainly didn't originate it, but that's my understanding of why this is called frogging. So I'm gonna frog these two things, this bird and this flower. When I redo this bird, I'm gonna do it a different color. I'm gonna do it in like a brown, because you cannot see that 3865. It's just too light, and I'd have to outline it, and I don't know if it would look right. So I'm not going to do that. I know up here, this vase right here was that same color, and I didn't like the way it was showing up, so I outlined it. I don't want to keep doing that, so I'm just going to change the color of this bird. So I don't know when you'll see this again. I'm happy with the progress I did make, and things like that happen, you can't cry over it, right? The thing is, I'm going to try to frog it before I put it away, because it's so much easier to get a piece out if you don't have to frog on it first. If it's all ready to go to put those stitches in again, I'll feel a lot better about it. So, all right, and then the piece that I did 500 stitches on was Jardin Privé Floralies. Okay, it's beautiful. I did 500 stitches, and I got pretty far. I'm happy. Let's see, I'm gonna hold it the right way. Yeah, this is right. This is the upper left-hand corner. So what I worked on this week is I came up and I did these two leaves, and I did this leaf, and I did this flower, and I did this flower. The only thing left in this flower is the center. I didn't get to that. I came up here, I wanted to bring this fence, I'm calling it, up. So I did do one plank of the fence, and I did put that blue stitch in the middle. I love this. It's so pretty. And of course I always have the fabric folded, so trust me that I do have enough fabric. Okay, don't know when that'll come out again. Oh, Brenda, one of my viewers, told me she has this piece. She didn't say if she had started it yet, but if you haven't, Brenda, I think you should. All right, next is my 250 stitch piece, which is Rejoice Evermore by Brenda Gervais. This is gorgeous. I've told you before, I really like when things are out of proportion. And these birds are definitely out of proportion to the house. That's cool. Okay, so I did 250 stitches on this one. I did very fun parts of this. I did these two little birds and this heart. And that heart are Smyrna crosses. So the two birds and the heart. I also did some satin stitching. I do not really like to do satin stitching, but I am doing it on this. And I did, I think, 3 triangles of satin stitching. And then I came up here. I might have had this green in, but I worked on this leaf, and it's going to be just like this one. And this is what I have done. This is really all I have done so far. It's gorgeous. And I'm doing this with the Vicky Clayton silks. And it's 40 count flax linen by Zweigart, and I'm doing 1/2. Okay. All right, that is all the stitching that I have done this week. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed doing it. And, you know, I always hope you enjoy every stitch. And if it gets frustrating or you get tired, it's too small, something's not right, just put it away, get something else out. Usually you can find something that you can enjoy. All right, the next set of things I'm going to show you are the new pieces that I'm going to be working on this week. So I told you that the Ukrainian sampler in the temperature stitching reached its goal. So that will get put away, and this is going to replace it. This is called Quaker Flowers by RATM. I got this at the Crafty U in Ohio. I forget the name of the town, but it's on more the eastern side of the state. Okay. And I haven't done any stitches for temperatures yet on this, but I do have some progress. This is where I am. So this is a 40 count Tyco linen. I did not put the designer of the linen on there, so I will have to tell you the next time. Using DMC and Sullivan floss, 1/2. The stitch count is 350 by 149. I started this in November of 2023. So I have a hanging thread, so this is where I will probably start. And just go from there. I know this is a bigger motif here, so I'll probably keep going with that one and then work over like I always do. All right, the next one that I'm going to show you. So now I'm going to talk about Jen's category for this coming week. The category that she picked just this past Thursday was Santa. Okay. I don't have any Santa pieces per se except for one. She said we could do any Christmas piece or any winter piece, but I really wanted to do a Santa since that's what the name of the category. So what I'm going to do is I have one that is going to be a new start, and this is what it is. So back in the day, we're talking like 2017, 18 maybe, Hands-On Design, which is Kathy Haberman, worked in collaboration with Priscilla Blaine, who now has her own company, which is called Stitching with the Housewives. They used to collaborate in that Priscilla would draw chalk pieces, send them to Kathy, and Kathy would chart them. And so there was a whole series of these chock full. This is called Mary Chock Full. There's a bloom, there's a patriotic one, there's a, I think there's a Halloween one. I'm not sure what, there's an Easter one. I got in the club. Fat Quarter Shop had a club that they sold these kits. So this comes with the Black Ada and all the classic Colorworks floss. So that's how I'll do it. And what I'm going to do for this is I'm just going to do one Santa Claus. I looked at the pattern, and one Santa Claus is about 300 stitches. So this piece plus the locations piece, which is the bloom where you're planted, plus this one is all going to equal 1,000 stitches. This is going to be 100. The other 400 from that is going to go to the locations piece. Then this is going to be 300, and then the other 200 will go back to the locations piece. So I probably made that very confusing, but the locations piece is now buried, so I can't show it to you, but I think you remember it. This is going to be 100. This is going to be 300, and then that's a total of 400. So the balance of that to equal 1,000 is 600. So I am going to do 600 stitches on the locations piece, which means 6 different states are going to get represented next week. I'm going to color them in differently so they stand out so you can tell, and I will tell you which states are represented by those 600 stitches. So I'm excited. I hope I get more states this week and more people. Even if your state shows up, please tell me. I'm going to keep a tally, and at the end, whatever location has the most people, I'm going to do something special for that location. So we'll see. All right. The next thing is going to be my 1,000 stitch piece for this week. This you've seen before. This is by Jardin Privé, Sampler Aux Bouquet. This is 3 pieces all together. That's how I'm doing it. I'm still on the first piece here. And so I'm going to do 1,000 stitches, and I'll show it to you in a second, but I'll be able to finish this. I think I'll pretty much be able to finish this whole piece because all I have left is some alphabet and this bird. Then I'm going to move on to this transition strip right here that is inserted for people who are going to do all 3 pieces together. So it has the bird, flower, the bunny, and then another flower. So I will be able to work, I have the bird started, and I'll be able to come down and work on some of that. When I get that completed, then I'll be able to start the second piece and move over. So here's where I am right now. So this is just the first piece and part of the transition strip that's going to go down, and then it'll just go right in over here. It'll go into the second piece. I'm going to finish this alphabet. I'm going to do the bird. I'm going to finish the border, and then I'm going to work on this coming down, and we'll see how far I can get. But that's where we are. Okay. The next piece is my 750 stitch piece. You have not seen this one before. This is another Teresa Kogut piece called Dwelling Place. Dwelling Place. Has a lot of red, white, and blue, which probably attracted me to it, but I love everything about this. Again, this is out of proportion, so I just like that look. These things are in proportion, and then this is out of proportion to the house. Okay, so I will do 750 stitches on this. This is where I am right now. So I don't know where I'm going to go with it yet. I know I'll do more alphabet. I'll probably even do the second row of the alphabet, maybe bring this over a little and then bring this over some more. I've done the bird, which is right here. So I might, and I've done 2 of these flowers, so I might work on that. You see here, 2 of these flowers and that bird. So I might go, I'll probably fill this in to just keep things caught up with each other. So 750 stitches. All right, that is done on 40 count Dusty Road linen. I'm doing it 1/2. That Dusty Road is by Seraphim, and I'll tell you that again next week after I work on it. The next piece is my 500 stitch piece, and this is Blessed Assurance. You've seen this one before. Heartstring samplery. Okay, here is where I am. And I'll put 500 in this. There's a yellow flower under here I'll probably bring this across. There's another blue flower like this over here, so I might start bringing this over. So we're gonna start working over this way. I love this piece. It's easy on this Ada by Fabric Flair. 14 count. Okay, the next one is my 250 stitch piece. This one you haven't seen before, but you've probably seen it. It's one of the tiny towns, and this is the patriotic one. I think I started this earlier this year. Let's see. I started this July 4th, 2026. And I think, you know, because of the birthday of the country, I wanted to at least start it. I did not get very far. And I thought this was interesting. I'm pretty sure it's Louise. Louise, let me know. She's doing tiny towns, and I think she's doing a lot of them on one piece of fabric. Well, when you showed that, I thought, I think I might be doing that too. And I am. I'm going to show you. This is the patriotic one. This is all I have so far. And I'm really hoping once I fill the blue in that these white stitches look a little bit better than they do right now. But there's that. I'll put 250 in. I have one above it that is finished. I'm going to just show it to you because it's here. This is the seaside tiny town. And then this will be the patriotic. Okay, so I'll do 250 on that one. And that is by Heart in Hand, Cecilia Turner. And if you don't know, she has a whole string, no pun intended, because that's like a string, but she has a whole series of tiny towns. And the one I haven't gotten that I want to get is I think it's called the Stitchers Tiny Town. It's really pretty. Okay, so those are all the pieces that I'm going to be stitching on this week. Whew! I'm going to have a lot of fun with those pieces. So we are at 46 minutes, which gives us plenty of time now to talk about comments. And I told you that I want to start this new segment. I want to do it at the end of every video. And I won't spend 15 minutes every week, but I'll spend at least between 5 and maybe 7 minutes on it. What I want to do is showcase, read some of the comments that I have gotten the week before. And I want to tell the person's name who wrote the comment, and I just want you to get familiar with the names of the viewers here, and maybe you'll go in and comment on their comment once you hear what I have to say. Yeah, I hope it sparks some just community building. That's all I'm looking for, and that we can feel like friends. So to start with, I just want to thank everybody for all the lovely comments this week. I just loved every single one of them. There were some comments from last week that I wanted to say at the end of the video that I did not have time for. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do those first, and then I'll move forward with the ones from this past week. So Louise, I have mentioned you several times now, Stitching with Grace and Delight. Louise is going to join Joanne and I in the stitch along of the Amy Stewart piece, Kitschy Fun Book Nook. So she already got it. She got the pattern. She's starting to kit it up. I think she ordered 25 count Lugana to do it on, and starting to kit that up. So Joanne, we have a third person, which I'm sure you're thrilled about too. Vicki is going to be stitching with us on maybe a different Amy Stewart piece. So we're excited. It's going to be starting on November 28th. And I do want to tell you that I did start a Facebook page. It's called Itching to Stitch. And it'll be a place where we can share these pieces and any other pieces that any of you want to share on that Facebook page. If you will do me a favor and go over there, and if you can get into the page, if you can find it, if you see my picture and you know it's the right one, if you could just let me know that you found it, you were successful, you'll be able to get on it, I'd appreciate it, because I set that up and you're never really sure if these things actually work. So if you could do that this week sometime, I would appreciate it. We don't have to use it right now if you don't want to, but if you want to start using it, feel free. I'll be checking it, that's for sure, and I'm sure I'll get notified when anybody posts anything. So wanted to let you know about that. The next thing, Kathy. Kathy is the viewer who asked me to explain my temperature stitching. That was a few videos ago. Kathy let me know that she appreciated that and that she started doing temperature stitching. So Way to go, Kathy. She's doing her own version that fits into her schedule and the pieces that she has. One thing she did tell me is that she is well, first she's enjoying it. And it is helping her work on some older WIPS and to get some progress. So I'm really happy that that's working for you, Kathy, and you're enjoying it. Those are the two things. It works and it's enjoyable. All right. A few viewers have let me know what they're working on, the pieces they're working on when they're watching me. There are a few too many to list. It'll take too much time, but thank you so much. And the ones that have, I let you know, I go and look it up. And it's always interesting to see what you're working on. Sometimes you're gonna probably enable me, and that's good. And if that does happen, I probably will mention it on the channel. But please know that I appreciate knowing what you're stitching on, and I do go, if I'm not familiar with the piece, I'm gonna go and look it up. A few people have let me know what they're doing when they're watching me, like if I'm just keeping them company. If they're not stitching, maybe they're drinking coffee or doing paperwork or some other task in the home. I've just had people like Brenda tell me she watches me when she's drinking her morning coffee. And I love that idea that we're together during that time, Brenda. But she also told me that she listens to audiobooks when she's actually stitching. And I thought, oh, I'd like to know what other people listen to. I know for me, Flosstube's #1, movies are good, podcasts, and I will occasionally listen to an audiobook as well. What kinds of things do you listen to? Or did you talk to someone on the phone? I know Stitchin' Mommy talks to people on the phone and actually does a specific piece when she talks like to her sister or to her mom or one of her friends. I think that's kind of cool. So if you have anything like that you do, let me know in the comments. So that's an interesting subject. I think we can maybe expand on a little bit. Iris told me she's a newer stitcher. She told me that she would love to join in on the Amy Stewart piece, but she has never done full coverage and she thinks it might make her cry. I understand, Iris. It can be very overwhelming, and when you look at a pattern and it's just solid black stitches, it could be like, no way can I ever do that. But what I will say is if you're interested in it, just keep watching people, maybe some tutorials, and start small. I think other people might tell you that as well. If you have any comments for Iris, please let her know. The next comment is from my friend Veronica. Veronica is my friend who has picked up stitching again, and we were doing a FaceTime call a couple weeks ago, and she showed me her stitching up close. And her stitches are perfect. I mean, literally, they're just impeccable, like she is. And it was just really fun. So I wanted to let her know. I so enjoyed seeing your stitching. Please keep it up. Let me know how you're doing, and I'm sure we will be in touch and you will show me your stitching. There was a comment from another viewer named Amy to Veronica saying that she was so happy that she had picked up the stitching. And so Amy, I didn't mention you last week when I mentioned Donna had also encouraged Veronica, but Amy had also. So thank you very much. Donna and Amy both told me also that they appreciated the hand exercises that I had showed, this wrist circles and the stretches this way and the bear claws. I hope you're doing them when you need to. I hope they come in handy for you sometime. Joanne, the Eclectic Stitcher, she has her own channel. She has started counting her stitches after watching me. And she said she downloaded an app to do that. I do not use an app. I use this little counter that manually I just have to press. So usually what I do, and I got this idea from Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. I ordered these from Amazon. There was like 5 in the pack, but you can get these now. Yarn Tree, I believe, is who is selling them, and I saw them at either Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And the one that I saw was pink. It just has 2 buttons, one for the counting, and that little button is to reset it. So that's what I use. And usually I stitch about 20 stitches or whatever I can remember, because I don't want to forget and then have to go back and count. So I try to remember in my head and maybe like 20 stitches, and then I'll go in and I'll put 20 in instead of going, I don't want it to slow me down too much. So that's what I try to do. I want to just tell you about Joanne too. She's a fairly new stitcher. She does have quite a few floss tubes though, and she had a break for a while and she's back now. I just wanted to tell you, she has a really nice voice to listen to, so she's a nice one to put on when you're stitching. Renee, the Adventurer Knits and Stitches channel, she checked out Cottage Cat Designs after seeing me show my 20 count Ada, and she went there and was thrilled to find that site. I wanted to let you know, I have a neutral piece, but Cottage Cat Designs has about any color you could ever imagine wanting. So if you want to look at that, please go over to their shop. Kathy told me that there was a patriotic version of Flea Market Flowers. That's a piece I haven't shown you. I've already done it. I told you it's framed and in my daughter's dining room. I did not know there was a patriotic version. She said she's doing it now and she's loving it. So just so you know, it might be something you want to check out. Brenda told me that she went over to Louise's channel after me recommending it, and she is enjoying her very much. Mary has told me that seeing my book, the Emma Congdon book on Stitching for the Soul, has inspired her to add some positive saying pieces, to design pieces to her repertoire. So I hope she does that. It is fun to do those pieces. Okay, so just a couple more. I'm almost done. I wanted to let you know about my commenter, Elizabeth. Elizabeth comments on every single video, and she gives me extremely encouraging comments. And she has a lot of respect for stitchers. She does not stitch herself, but she loves the hobby. She loves to watch it. And I will say she's my #1 fan. And there might be a reason for that. And this was what I had put in the comments about myself that Iris picked up on. And Elizabeth is my sister. And I'm very happy that she's also a viewer, and seriously, such an encourager. And I appreciate her a lot. And I wanted to bring that up for another reason too, because I had left a message on Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter's last video, telling her that she had inspired me to start my own channel and that I had been mentioning her in all my videos. And she got back to me, and she actually went over to my channel and subscribed. She hasn't watched yet, as far as I know. She has it on her list though. She's a very busy lady, and I hope she watches and lets me know what she thinks. But going back to Elizabeth for a minute, this is all going to tie together. About a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now, my sister Elizabeth got very ill very quickly. I had retired about a year prior to that, and she called me and asked me if I could come and help her. She was really in need of help. And I was able to, because I was retired, I was able to, and we spent the next year together, pretty much joined at the hip while she recovered. And I went back and forth from her house to my house, my lake house. And this was before I had the condo. And we spent all that time together. Well, one of the things that we did while she was recovering was watch Flosstube. And she really took a liking to Jen. And she credits Jen for helping her recover, because she looked forward to her videos. We watched them 2 or 3 times every video. And so Jen means a lot to me for that reason as well. So I did let Jen know that at the time that we were watching and that Elizabeth was recovering. Elizabeth is doing great. She is almost 100% recovered, and she still watches Jen, and she's very happy that Jen responded back to me and that now Jen is my subscriber and that she's watching my videos. So I just wanted to tell you all of that. I think it's an awesome story and it makes me very happy. All right, so for this week, I'll just say once again, if you feel like you want to comment, I would really love to know where you're from. I would love to know what piece you would like me to put 1,000 stitches into. I would like to know what you're stitching on, what you're doing while you're watching me. And if you can encourage anyone in the group, in the comments, that would be awesome. I would just love that. And I'd love to see this community get closer, maybe get a little larger, but not necessary. Just the ones that are here that we really enjoy each other's company. And that's really what I'm after, and I hope you are too. I hope you buy into all of that, and that you'll participate. So as always, thank you. I'm so happy to have a place to share my stitching. Just so happy to be here. And until we see each other again, please take care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.